So, you know those times you see some really, like, captivating content online.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a cool explainer video uh, with a dynamic 3D character that just nails the message.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It makes you wonder, like, how could you bring that kind of visual interest to what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. There's a unique power in seeing ideas and brands kind of come to life in 3 dimensions. It's really the kind of stuff that grabs and holds your attention.
But then I think for most of us, the reality check kind of kicks in.
Hmm.
We immediately think, huge production costs,
Yeah.
needing really complicated, expensive software, and a whole team of specialized artists with skills that just feel, well, light years away from our own. Maybe you've even looked into it before and just thought, nope, that's
No.
just not an option.
Yeah, that's a really common reaction. And understandable, too. Historically, making high-quality 3D character animation it's involved a pretty significant investment, both money and technical know-how. It puts it out of reach for a lot of people.
Well, that's pretty much exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to dissect those traditional barriers, the reasons why creating 3D character animation has maybe felt like trying to build a spaceship in your garage.
Yeah.
And then we'll explore what could be a really transformative shift in this whole area. We're drawing some insights from sources like an article by Winston Trim.
Right. Our goal here in this deep dive is really to understand why this incredibly impactful way of communicating has been so inaccessible for so many, and what fundamental changes are maybe making it, well, increasingly within reach now.
Okay, let's get into it then. This article we looked at, it really grabs you with this stark figure. The $45,000 hurdle.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it suggests is like the typical cost for creating 3D character animation using the old ways, $45,000.
Mhm.
What on earth makes it so incredibly expensive?
Well, that number, and it is substantial, it truly reflects just how intricate and multi-layered the traditional 3D animation process is. It's not really just one big expense. It's more the sum of several pretty significant cost factors.
Right.
And what might surprise you is that a noticeable chunk of that isn't just the artist's time, but actually the licensing fees for the industry standard software. It can sometimes feel like you're, renting a whole digital studio just for one project.
Right. Okay, so let's start breaking those factors down. The first big one seems to be needing these highly specialized skills. It's not just hiring one person, it's like a whole team of experts.
Exactly. Yeah. In a traditional setup, you'd typically need concept artists first to sort of envision and design the characters. Then 3D modelers to actually build those designs in the digital space. Riggers, you can think of them as creating the digital skeleton that lets the character move. Animators to actually bring it all to life with motion, and then lighting and rendering artists to make sure the final look is, polished and professional. Each one of those roles needs a deep mastery of specific software and, well, artistic principles.
And each of those specialists, quite rightly, commands a significant salary.
Yeah.
So even for what might seem like a relatively short animation, those labor costs can just climb really, really quickly.
That's absolutely right. And it's not just the number of people involved, but also the sheer time they need to dedicate. 3D animation just isn't a process you can rush.
Right.
Each phase, from the initial idea right through to the final rendered output, it needs meticulous attention to detail. So we're often looking at production timelines that stretch into weeks, and for more complex stuff, maybe even months.
Yeah.
And that long duration, it just directly impacts the overall labor costs.
Okay, so we've got the significant cost of the talent, these specialists, and the considerable time investment. What else usually adds up to that $45,000 figure?
Then you've got the pretty hefty investment in both software and hardware. The professional-grade software for 3D modeling, animation, rendering it often comes with really steep licensing fees. Sometimes it's subscription-based now. And beyond that, you need really powerful computer workstations, things with high-end graphics cards to handle the intense processing these programs demand. These aren't your everyday laptops. They're specialized machines, like the digital equivalent of a super-powered engine, just to run the software smoothly.
Right. Okay, so you're not just paying for the skilled people, but also for the very expensive specialized tools they need to do their work. And it sounds like the whole process itself is just inherently complex, which probably adds to the cost and the timeline too.
Precisely. Yeah. Even something that might look relatively simple on screen involves a pretty intricate workflow. You usually start with storyboarding, detailed character design.
Okay.
Then you move into modeling, then rigging, making that digital skeleton.
Right, the skeleton.
Then the actual animation, which sometimes might even involve motion capture for more realistic movement.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, post-production to really refine the visuals. Each stage needs careful planning, precise execution, and often a lot of coordination between the different team members.
I did see that.
This inherent complexity, it just inevitably increases the chance for revisions, unforeseen delays, which again bumps up the overall costs.
So when you piece all that together, the specialized teams, the long production times, the expensive tools, the complex step-by-step process, yeah, it becomes really clear why 3D animation has traditionally been something mostly limited to, like, major corporations with really big budgets. It's been a playing field with a very, very high entry fee.
Exactly. This high barrier to entry has pretty much stopped many smaller businesses, independent creators, entrepreneurs from really using this incredibly powerful tool for their marketing and communication. They've often had to settle for, less engaging or maybe less polished alternatives just because the traditional route was financially way out of reach.
But the big financial hit isn't the only hurdle in the traditional way, is it? Even if someone could somehow, scrape together the budget, there are other pretty big challenges involved too.
That's a really critical point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond just the money, there are significant logistical and creative management challenges. For instance, just finding and effectively managing a team of skilled 3D artists. That can be a real undertaking.
Yeah, I bet.
Especially if you yourself aren't, deeply familiar with all the details of the 3D animation world. Just making sure everyone's aligned creatively and working together smoothly from a technical perspective. That can often lead to communication breakdowns and, well, project management headaches.
I can definitely see that. You've got concept artists with one vision, modelers interpreting it in 3D, animators adding their own feel.
Yeah.
Keeping everyone on the same page, moving in the same direction, must be a massive project in itself.
Precisely. And the iterative nature of 3D animation often means these really long feedback loops. Sending drafts back and forth between different specialists for reviews, revisions. It can be incredibly time-consuming and, frankly, frustrating.
Yeah.
Plus, when you outsource a creative project like this, you inevitably give up a certain amount of direct creative control. You're trusting an external team to bring your vision to life, and, well, the final result might not always perfectly match what you had in your head initially.
And just the thought of having to go back and make what seemed like minor changes once the animation is already well underway.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that sounds like it could open up a whole new, very expensive can of worms.
Oh, absolutely.
I can just picture sending something off, waiting days, getting it back, and realizing, oh, the character's expression is totally wrong. It's like waiting for a package you hope is the right size, but you won't know till it arrives.
Exactly. Even seemingly small tweaks can be surprisingly costly and time-consuming in our traditional 3D workflow. And that severely limits your ability to, say, adapt to changing marketing needs or even just incorporate feedback easily. All these frustrations, they really highlight the need for a different approach, something more accessible, more efficient, and more cost-effective for businesses and individuals to tap into the power of 3D character animation.
And that brings us neatly to the potential solution we mentioned earlier, Create Studio. The sources we looked at really position this as a potential game changer in the field. How exactly does it try to tackle these pretty substantial problems we've been laying out?
Well, Create Studio is basically conceived as this integrated all-in-one platform, and its explicit aim is to democratize 3D character animation. The core idea is to empower a much wider range of users, regardless of their previous technical skills or their budget, to create high-quality 3D character videos with relative ease and efficiency. It tries to directly address many of those key pain points we just outlined.
Okay, so how does it actually do that? Let's dig into some of the core features and benefits that were highlighted. The first one that really jumps out is drastically reduced costs. How does Create Studio manage to pull the price down so much?
Primarily by consolidating that whole animation pipeline into a single, more affordable platform.
Yeah.
So instead of needing to hire multiple specialists, each at their own rate, and having to pay for numerous expensive software licenses, users basically get access to a comprehensive set of tools within Create Studio itself. This fundamental shift, it just dramatically lowers that financial barrier to entry.
That makes perfect sense. So you're essentially bypassing the need for that whole team and multiple expensive software packages.
Okay.
What about the steep learning curve and the complexity we talked about? The sources really emphasize unparalleled ease of use.
Yeah, this is another really crucial difference. Create Studio is designed with an intuitive interface, often using drag and drop functionality. The main goal is to make the animation process accessible even to people who don't have years of dedicated technical training. The learning curve is intentionally made much shallower, letting users get started and actually see results much more quickly.
A drag-and-drop interface for 3D animation.
Yeah.
Wow, that almost sounds too simple. What about the actual building blocks, though? Do users have to, like, create all the characters and environments from scratch? Because that sounds hard.
No, not at all. That's a key part. Create Studio typically offers a huge library of pre-designed 3D characters, props, backgrounds, and also a range of pre-made animations.
Uh-huh.
This is an enormous time saver. It just eliminates the need for users to start from zero with those really complex processes of 3D modeling and rigging, making that digital skeleton.
Right.
And importantly, these pre-made assets are often highly customizable, so users can adapt their look and style to match their specific brand and message.
Okay, so you've got the ready-made elements, but what about actually making the characters move and express emotions? Is that still a super technical, involved process?
Well, Create Studio includes user-friendly animation tools specifically for that. This often includes things like keyframe animation. You can think of it like making a flip book.
Okay.
You define specific poses at different points in time, and the software cleverly fills in the movements in between to create that illusion of motion.
Right.
Many platforms also offer motion presets. These are pre-designed movements like walking, running, gesturing that you can just apply easily to your characters. And features like automated lip-syncing tools are also pretty common, making it much, much easier to create expressive character performances without needing deep technical knowledge of complex animation stuff.
And one of the traditional bottlenecks we mentioned was the rendering time, just waiting for the computer to process the animation. How does Create Studio usually handle that?
Yeah, that's a big one. Many modern platforms, including Create Studio, often have real-time or near real-time rendering.
Oh, wow.
Which means you can actually see your animations come to life almost instantly while you're working on them. That's a huge advantage over the old ways, where you might have to wait ages for rendering after every single little adjustment. This faster feedback loop allows for much quicker iteration and just a more fluid, intuitive, creative process overall.
So instead of waiting maybe hours to see if a change worked, you see it pretty much right away.
Yeah.
That would definitely speed things up.
Yeah.
Okay, what about keeping creative control? If you're using pre-made assets and simpler tools, do you lose the ability to make something truly unique?
Well, the fundamental goal of platforms like Create Studio is really to strike a balance between that ease of use and still offering a significant degree of creative control.
Okay.
So while they offer user-friendliness through pre-built stuff and intuitive tools, they also typically give users substantial control over things like character appearance, specific movements, camera angles, lighting, and other really crucial parts of the animation. This makes sure the final video can still be tailored to fit your specific brand identity and creative vision.
And because it's presented as being easier and faster, it sounds like it would also just naturally encourage more experimentation, right?
Exactly.
You wouldn't be so hesitant to try different ideas or make tweaks if it doesn't involve days of work and thousands of dollars every time you want to test something.
Absolutely. That inherent ease of use and the rapid real-time feedback loop, they strongly encourage quick iteration and experimentation. You can rapidly test out different creative ideas, make adjustments on the fly based on what you're seeing right there, and refine your animations much more efficiently until you get exactly the result you want.
And finally, the sources mention scalability and flexibility. So it's not just limited to making one specific kind of video, is it?
No, definitely not. These types of platforms are generally designed to be really versatile. They empower users to create a whole diverse range of 3D character content, everything from very short, snappy social media clips to more in-depth explainer videos or engaging presentations. They adapt readily to the changing needs of a business or an individual project. You might even see them used for, say, creating interactive 3D elements on websites, or for internal training videos showing some less obvious but really effective uses.
Okay, so if these platforms like Create Studio can genuinely deliver on these promises, significantly lower costs, easier to use, big libraries of assets, intuitive tools, real-time feedback, and good creative control, What kind of impact could that actually have for businesses and individuals? The sources talk about the transformative power of 3D character videos.
Oh, the potential impact is really significant. It spans across several crucial areas. Firstly, 3D characters just tend to be inherently more engaging and memorable than static content.
Right.
They have this unique ability to capture attention more effectively, evoke a wider range of emotions, and really forge a stronger, more lasting connection with the audience. Just picture like a brand mascot literally coming to life to deliver a key message. The potential impact there is undeniable and way greater than just a static image. We've even seen cases where surprisingly simple 3D characters were used to explain really complex financial products, and it led to something like a 30% increase in user understanding during testing. Static visuals just couldn't achieve that.
That's a fantastic point. A static logo is one thing, but an animated character with actual personality?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could really build a much deeper brand connection.
Precisely. And furthermore, complex ideas, intricate processes, abstract concepts, they can all be simplified and explained much more effectively through clear visual demos using 3D animation. A relatable character can visually walk viewers through a product demo, clearly explain a service, or illustrate a complex idea in a way that's both really informative and inherently entertaining, and that can potentially lead to better comprehension and ultimately higher conversion rates.
So it's not just about looking good. It can actually really improve how clearly and effectively you communicate.
Exactly. And in today's super crowded digital world where attention spans are, let's face it, constantly challenged,
Yeah.
memorability is absolutely key. 3D character videos have the potential to leave a much more lasting impression, making your brand more easily remembered by potential customers right when they need your products or services.
That makes total sense. If the content's more engaging and more memorable, it's highly likely to lead to better outcomes like those higher conversion rates the sources bring up.
That's the expected result, yeah.
Yeah.
By visually showing the key benefits of your products or services in a compelling, easy-to-grasp way, engaging 3D character videos can persuade more website visitors or potential customers to actually take the action you want them to, whether that's buying something, signing up for a newsletter, or contacting you.
And beyond just those direct conversions, it sounds like this kind of content can also play a really crucial role in just building a stronger, more lasting relationship with your audience.
Absolutely. Well-designed, thoughtfully animated 3D characters really have the power to evoke positive emotions and build a sense of trust. By creating relatable, likable characters, you can foster a stronger emotional connection with your audience, which is absolute fundamental for building long-term brand loyalty.
And the versatility that was mentioned seems like a huge plus too. You're not just stuck making one type of content for one platform.
Exactly right. 3D character videos can be strategically used across a really wide range of marketing and communication channels, social media platforms, your website, email campaigns, presentations, even like in-store displays on screens.
Oh,
This inherent versatility allows for a much more cohesive and ultimately more impactful overall marketing strategy.
and in a digital world where everyone's just constantly bombarded with static images and blocks of text, having dynamic 3D animation could really help a brand stand out and actually grab some attention.
That's a substantial competitive advantage today. Yeah. In that sea of visual sameness, using 3D character videos can effectively position your brand as innovative, forward-thinking, and just visually distinct from your competitors.
And thinking about the potential cost savings compared to those traditional high-end production methods, it sounds like this could be a significantly more cost-effective way to hit those important marketing and communication goals.
That's the core appeal for many businesses and individual creators, absolutely. By effectively lowering both the financial and the logistical hurdles, platforms like Create Studio can make high-quality video marketing much more accessible, allowing businesses to maybe allocate their valuable budget to other crucial areas.
Then let's not forget the basic power of storytelling. The sources emphasize how 3D characters can really elevate narratives.
Oh, definitely. 3D characters provide this uniquely powerful medium for crafting genuinely engaging stories that deeply resonate with your target audience, build excitement, and ultimately leave a much more lasting, memorable impact. Good storytelling is a cornerstone of successful marketing, right? And 3D animation has the potential to take that to a whole new level of effectiveness.
And finally, there's that crucial element of shareability. Visually appealing, genuinely entertaining videos are just way more likely to get shared around on social media, organically boosting your reach.
Precisely. Visually captivating and entertaining 3D character videos just have a demonstrably higher chance of being readily shared by viewers across their networks, which can significantly boost overall brand awareness and drive leads without you having to spend extra on advertising.
So looking ahead then, the sources touch on the future of animated content and how 3D character animation is becoming, well, increasingly essential for effective communication.
Yeah, the overall trend is pretty unmistakable. Visual content just continues its strong dominance across the entire digital landscape. As online audiences get more and more used to dynamic, highly engaging visuals, 3D character animation is quickly shifting from being seen as just a luxury to becoming a really vital tool for businesses and individuals who want to connect with their audience meaningfully and effectively.
And the main idea is that these newer platforms, like Create Studio, are effectively lowering that barrier to entry, making this really powerful tool accessible to a much broader range of people than ever before.
Exactly. It's fundamentally about democratizing the creation of this super impactful type of content. The sources give several solid examples of how it could be used, friendly onboarding avatars to guide new customers,
Hmm.
engaging animated characters, showing off complex product features, compelling brand story videos that build that emotional connection, even short, attention-grabbing viral social media clips. These are all now realistically within reach for a much wider group of users.
So the key takeaway really seems to be that what was once seen as this expensive, complex, highly specialized thing is rapidly becoming much more accessible, user-friendly, and significantly more affordable.
That's the fundamental shift we're observing, yeah. Those traditional obstacles that once made 3D character animation feel completely unattainable, they're now being effectively tackled by innovative new tech and user-friendly platforms. It's opening up a whole new world of creative and really effective marketing possibilities for a much wider audience.
And for you, the listener, this could genuinely represent a new and exciting way to dramatically boost your brand engagement, significantly improve how effectively you communicate, and leave a truly lasting, memorable impression on your audience.
Which really raises an important question for you to think about now. How could incorporating a dynamic visual element like a 3D character fundamentally transform the way you're currently communicating your key messages? What compelling stories could you bring to life in a way that static content just, well, it simply can't achieve? And what new possibilities might that unlock for you?